the kids that unfortunately walk in on all three of us having intercourse.
I have a more serious question.
Okay.
Are we polyamorous?
Yes.
Is it true that your parents call our kids niggers? Who pay for everything?
Kelsi?
But she had no job.
She got food stamps.
Okie doke. So she paid for everything with food stamps. Got you.
Based upon the pleadings, the plaintiff is seeking sole custody. She's also seeking spousal support. The case scheduling order lists custody, support, parenting time, and spousal support as issues in dispute in this particular matter. So those will be the matters that we're addressing today. I do note in reviewing the file in preparation for this proceeding, it's alleged at paragraph 6 of the answer that plaintiff is pregnant by someone other than the defendant, and appears that that is confirmed in paragraph 23 in this particular matter. I will note to plaintiff, Ms. Daniel, you have not filed a motion in this particular matter to determine that that particular child is a child born out of wedlock and not issue of this marriage. Likewise, Mr. Daniel, you did not file that. To have that issue addressed, you're going to need to file that particular motion, and the court will not, based upon your testimony, the court will not complete the proceeding until we've had a determination on that particular child. Do you understand? I'll ask Ms. Daniel, do you understand that?
I do, Honor, but I have to tell you, I had lost the baby. The baby had died. I'm not pregnant no more.
Okay.
My baby's dead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry to bring it up. I'm going based upon the pleadings that I have, not I have no other information other than what was in the pleadings. What? Okay. Why don't we do this? I've been informed that the children are here. Why don't we take that time before we commence? We'll take a brief recess. That'll give me a chance to talk to the kids, give you a chance, Miss Daniel, to compose yourself, and then we will proceed as soon as I get done talking to them. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you.
We are back on the record.
Okay. Welcome back. I did have opportunity to speak to the children, and that was it's always enjoyable to speak to children. Sometimes they really provide the court with some sort of a comic relief too. Sometimes so they were a little bit funny on some things, but that's great. Like to hear that. Well, as we proceed, what we're going to do is we'll give each of you an opportunity to make an opening statement. And the opening statement is what you intend to prove, what you would like the court to do, et cetera. Anything else you believe is relevant. And after you've both had an opportunity to make an opening statement, well, then at that point, plaintiff will present any witnesses she has at that particular point. And then after she's concluded, then Mr. Daniel, you would have an opportunity to present any witness testimony that you would like. And then at the conclusion of the case, we'll give you an opportunity to make closing statements as well. So as you can see, you'll have obviously an adequate opportunity to make, the court aware of anything you want me to be made aware of. I will tell you that when you are making opening statements, your opening statements are not evidence. Okay, the only evidence you can present is when you are testifying. So if there's something that you feel is important as far as evidence, wait until you're going to testify and are sworn in. And then at that particular point, you can tell me. So, Ms. Daniel, I'll ask you, do you have an opening statement?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I believe the kids should be with me because the dad runs around naked in front of the kids. He drinks too much. There are records. You can look them up for drinking and driving. He's been to jail multiple times. He's went to jail recently. Don't know what for. I have witnesses to prove that he's an alcoholic, and that's not safe for my kids to be around. My kid called me the other day, Ariana, on video. I was a witness to this, and it is true because I was on video with her. My 1-year-old almost drowned because my 5-year-old was in the tub.
Okay,
He
Miss,
put the,
hold on, just a second. In this matter, there's things that are hearsay statements, and those are statements that are presented. They're out of court statements, which you're offering in court to prove the truth of the matter asserted. The court is not going to accept any hearsay unless there's a witness to that. So if you have a witness, that would be the time to present the witness testimony as to what happened in the particular case. But as you're going through your openings, don't tell me what somebody else has said or the children have said, because that is hearsay. Okay?
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I feel like, I don't know, I could provide for them better.
Okay.
I just,
Kelsi, don't cry.
he's not good with the kids. He won't allow me to have my kids when I want them because of my mom. That's why he's trying to take the kids from me. And I didn't know I had to present the proof 7 days before coming to court, but I do have the proof. He tried paying my sister Tira to come up here and testify against me and lie against me in court. I have the proof. She screenshot it. I have it with me, but you said I can't show you guys, but I do have the proof with me.
Okay. And just to address that, what happens in this particular matter is there are, like we had the case scheduling, or it required various things. And one of those things that the case scheduling order states is that you have to present that anything you're going to introduce as evidence no later than 7 days prior to the trial. You haven't done that. So the court's not going to accept any evidence that you might have that was not presented to the court in a timely fashion as required by the case scheduling order. And I would have told you at that time to pay attention to the case scheduling order, that there were time deadlines and all of those things. So unfortunately, you didn't take note of that or pay attention to that. So now, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to present that particular evidence. So Miss Daniel, go ahead.
Okay. I've been working. That's another thing. I've been working a lot. I don't get out until like 6 o'clock at night. He drinks and drives with them kids in the car. Like I said, I can't really show proof, but I'm a witness. So he does. He drinks and drives with them kids in the car, and I know he still does it. When I was over there a couple months back. He allowed me in his house to stay with the kids. The kids had witnessed him and his girlfriend having sex. The kids will tell you, they won't lie. They'll tell you. All of them witnessed it, and the baby was in there sleeping, and she was almost on top of the baby. I had to go in there and grab my baby from the room because they were actually having sex on top of my son.
Anything else, ma'am?
And him being abusive towards me. He choked me up in front of my daughter, Ariana. The kids still talk about it to this day. They bring it up all the time. Remember when daddy hit you and stuff like that? He was abusive towards me in front of them kids. And he used to carry a gun in the car. I don't know if he still does. And around the kids, he don't lock the guns up. Where my 1-year-old son had got to a bullet and almost put it in his mouth, and I had to grab it.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Not as of right now.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Daniel, you have an opportunity to present an opening statement at this time, or you can reserve it and do it later before you start your proofs. It's up to you.
I'm fine with starting right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna completely reject everything that just was said. What I'm here for right now is I only want temporary sole custody because I've been raising our children by myself for the past 7 months. I attempted to get food stamps, but I can't get food stamps because she's still claiming the kids. Right now, there's a federal investigation because they want to know why she's getting the food stamps when the kids live with me. And so I have to show receipts. And so with these in the last 7 months, is I've only gotten like maybe like 400 or 500. Our children, Kyrie and Lorenzo, have severe food allergies. And so I've been paying everything out of pocket. And their food costs just for them two alone is well over like $300 just for them two, because they can't have dairy, they can't have gluten, they cannot have anything containing nuts. As far as being arrested for drinking and driving, that is actually true because I blew a .09 and Kelsi was actually at the home. I had got off work and we got off work like we had a half day, and I came home. I spent time with my family at the time. We was drinking, we was having like a little fun time.
Sir, let me tell, I don't want to interrupt you, but you can go into this on your testimony.
Okay.
You don't have to lay it all out right here, okay?
Okay. But no, I did blow a .09 once, and I did get arrested for OWVI, but no, I do not drink, and I do not drink and drive like that. So I'm rejecting that. I do not walk around my kids naked, and she made a statement about the kids catching me and my so-called girlfriend, because I do not have a girlfriend, having intercourse. The thing is, Kelsi was here because when she says she stayed, we're polyamorous. It was all three of us, and the kids walked in on all three of us. So I can't deny that. The kids, they unfortunately walk in on all three of us having intercourse. My main thing is only reason I'm looking for sole custody. I don't even want sole custody. I want like temporary sole custody. Simply for the fact is she keep texting saying she might be homeless because the guy she's with that got her pregnant might be putting her out. He might be seeing other people. She don't have a stable home. She don't have a driver's license. Right now, like even now, like she would, well, hopefully, be honest, they will pull the kids out of school because we both have equal. Right now we have equal rights, but they'll like her mother will pull the kids out of school to the point where I had to go to the school and have them take her name off because she would take the kids out of school and make them miss multiple days just so I couldn't get them. We had an incident with the officers. I went to pick up my daughter. Her mom slammed my daughter's head into the door. And then the school was like, no, our kids miss multiple days from school because she don't have a way to get them there. She don't have reliable people to get them there. And so only thing I'm looking for, to be honest, is temporary sole custody until she can get her own place, get her license. That way we can both be the best parents we can for these kids. Because right now, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of hard when I'm trying to tell like our children's birthday. I almost choked up. Our son's birthday. I told her she can have our son for his birthday. We'll do it the weekend. She couldn't do it because she had no way of doing it. Only thing I'm looking for is to really give our kids the best. I don't care about anything else. She's right here. I'm not gonna lie to nobody.
Can I object?
I want.
No, you can't
Okay.
object to an opening statement, ma'am.
I just want the best for our kids. I don't want them growing up in ghettos. I don't want them. That's why I work that's why I work the way I work. That's why I got this house. That's why I push and I push. I'm not trying, I don't care about the evil and drama. I just want the best for the kids. That's literally all. And she can tell you that that's besides getting pregnant by another guy out of wedlock, she will always complain that I spent too much attention on the kids and not her. And I agree with that. But seeing as I was adopted, I went through foster care. I don't want the kids to grow up in environments like that. So I'm just gonna keep. That's it.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, sir, just to clarify a point, you said you're seeking temporary custody until some later point. What we're going to do in the trial, I'll be deciding custody. I'm not deciding temporary custody. We're deciding the issue of custody, okay?
Yes, sir. Can I ask a question? If
Sure.
that's okay, Your Honor.
Sure.
When I say I like temporary sole custody, I meant like I wanted to try to get sole custody right now, but we
Okay,
can go to court later and do joint custody.
that's fine. Just when you said temporary, that was confusing. I just wanted to make sure I'm making a decision on final custody, not on a temporary basis.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, Honor, can I speak again? Can I say
No,
something?
you'll have a chance, you'll have a chance to testify and you'll have a chance to make a closing argument, but you made your opening. So at this point, this is where you can have your witnesses, if you have witnesses,
Yes, I do.
to testify. Okay, and who would you call as your first witness, ma'am?
Melissa Hooper. Tatro, sorry, Tatro. Forgot she got married. Melissa Tatro, sir.
How do you spell that last name?
Tatro.
Okay.
That they need to join Zoom separately.
Yeah, do you have them there? Okay. Do you have separate ways to join in this matter? Because it's going to be hard for us to have the plaintiff ask questions and you answer if we only have you on the screen. Do you have do you have the ability to do that?
Kelsi is checking for me on my phone.
We did send, when we sent the directions, there was a phone number. So there is a way you can join on your phone. She can be on screen and you can simply answer based upon your connection on your phone.
Do I have to download Zoom on my phone?
No, let me send you.
Our staff is going to send you a phone number and you can call in on that number and then you'll be connected.
Just one moment, please. You're going to call the number I sent you in a Zoom chat message. When you call that number, you are then going to enter the Zoom ID for this courtroom. And I'm gonna send you that too. That's the 71272 minus 714.
Your Honor, is it okay if I get that as well?
Yep, yep. We'll send out those numbers to you as well,
Okay.
so anybody can testify
Just a moment.
when it's ready, but obviously the plaintiff will present all her witnesses first, then you'll have an opportunity after that.
Okay, thank you.
What's the
Very
serial
good.
number? Oh, okay, hold on. I got it, Mom.
Welcome to Zoom. Your meeting ID, followed by the pound. Zoom entered 1. This meeting ID does not exist. Please re-enter your meeting ID, followed by pound. There are 3.
Okay, let me see. So is that the phone number 269-298-0901?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on. I need to go to separate rooms.
Yeah. Ma'am, Ms. Paparotto, you're gonna have to move to a separate area of the house so we don't get feedback. You can't be in the same room because all we'll hear is echo.
I'll go outside, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Paparotto, what we're gonna do is we'll have to have you sworn in before you testify. So if you would, raise your right hand, we'll have you sworn and then we'll proceed.
Okay.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay?
What was the name?
Papro, Papro, Papro. Ms. Daniel, you can go ahead and examine the witness.
Yes, sir. So basically, ain't it true that Edward drinks?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Isn't it true what?
Isn't it true that Edward drinks a lot?
Yes, it is.
And isn't it true that Edward drinks and drives with those kids in the car still to this day?
Yes, it is.
And isn't it true that you know that he runs around naked with them kids?
Yes, it is.
Isn't it true that he's abusive?
Yes, it is.
And is it true that he left a bruise on Ariana?
Yes, he did.
Now, isn't it true that he leaves his guns unlocked with it loaded in front of them kids?
Yes, he does.
Now, isn't it true that he lets those kids without a seatbelt in that car and drives
Yes,
around
he
like
does.
that?
Yes, he does.
And isn't it true that the kids have witnessed him jerking off multiple times?
Yes, that is very true.
Okay, let me ask, and just I'll have to ask is, Ms. Paparotto, obviously, in that answer to that one, you say yes. Were you present when that happened?
I was not there, but
Okay,
the
then
kids
ma'am,
had told me about it.
ma'am, if you are not present and do not observe it, you cannot testify to that, okay?
Okay,
Because that is hearsay, because you are not the person that witnessed the particular event. So what
Okay.
happens as on a number of things that you've testified to, if you didn't observe, you can't testify to that.
okay,
Okay. And ma'am, if you would, for purposes of asking, you're asking effectively leading questions, ask her questions that require her to answer as opposed to just yes or no.
Okay, okay. I thought maybe being over the phone, her witness over the phone would work. I didn't know. I thought,
She's still a witness, so she still has to testify.
okay, yeah, because she's witnessing most of this stuff. Sometimes we're over the phone too when she can hear stuff in the background.
and I used to live with them, and they used to live with us.
Okay, you can testify about the things that you observed.
Okay. So is it true that Edward had left Kyrie up by his arm and was abusing him when we were
Bubba,
living?
no, 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 no. No, Bubba.
Yes,
I think it's really all.
Anything else, ma'am?
No.
Okay. Mr. Daniel, you have an opportunity to now cross-examine the witness if you would like to. So do you have any cross-examination, anything you would like to ask the witness?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna do my best. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer. I apologize if I make any mistakes. Melissa, is it true that you called, I know, I'm trying to figure this out. Give me one. All right, Melissa, you called the cops on us when me and Kelsi first got together because,
no,
no, you called the cops on us because we was having a tickle fight and the cops came banging on the door because you thought I was assaulting her. Kelsi's right here and you're right there.
no.
Your Honor, am I allowed to ask Kelsi to verify that?
No, you can ask her when she when she testifies, you can ask her. Can't ask her. We're dealing with just this witness at this time, and then we'll move on.
All right, but we are under oath, right?
Yes, she is under oath.
Okay, so she said no. Okay. Melissa, when back when we first when me and Kelsi first got together, we would play fight and wrestle. The cops were called, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yes, because
I just said yes.
I know, but why would the cops call for us play fighting?
Because Kelsi told me that she called me and told me that you guys were fighting.
Okay. Ma'am?
She didn't say yes.
Ma'am, I'm gonna caution you again. Don't say what somebody else said, okay?
Okay,
You can say what you observed or what, in this case, because you're asking, you can say what, again, a party might have admitted to, but you just simply cannot offer self-serving testimony, okay?
okay.
Go ahead, Mr.
All right.
Daniel.
Melissa, when we when we when we moved back here and we gave you that $1,600 because you said you'd be high on rent, you didn't pay for it. Why were the cops called? Hello?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay, that's fine. When you told my kids that they're niggers, and I got upset and I came at you and your boyfriend for assaulting our children, which Kelsi is there. When your boyfriend, well, now I guess he's your husband, assaulted out both of my sons, why were the cops called?
The cops were never called and we never said that.
I actually got proof on that, but anyway, why were the cops called? Because remember, I had to stand outside and the cop came up. And then you actually did do a decent thing. He was like, well, no. He didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, you can ask the question, sir. Not testify at this time.
Okay. So you don't remember. Okay. I have one more really serious one. And I'll be done.
Okay, go ahead and ask.
Melissa, when you said y'all saying I walk around naked, when have I ever walked around naked in front of the children?
I saw you
You have never once saw me.
on video.
On video. Yeah, that's a lie. But I'm gonna try to be as civil as I can. When have I ever walked around naked in front of any child?
You got my answer.
I have not gotten your answer.
Ma'am, he was asking for a date, time, et cetera. He says, when did that happen?
I don't remember. I just seen it on video when Kelsi was talking to one of her kids.
So so you say you saw it on video, right?
Yes, I did.
All right. Where's that video?
It got erased off of her phone somehow.
Oh. Convenient. Are you sure you're not talking about when you called and you wouldn't stop calling and you caught me and Kelsi in the act and I was trying to get up and run out the room?
No.
So it's not that. So when have I ever walked around naked in front of my children?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
I already gave you my
Y'all,
answer.
all right. So you say I have guns unlocked, right?
Yeah, you have done a lot.
I have no firearms.
Okay, sir, you're just asking a question. You're not testifying.
Oh yeah,
yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm
So
sorry.
you can't make statements. You can ask questions.
How many firearms do I own right now?
The last time I knew, you owned one.
When was that?
You had it in your car?
No, when did I have a firearm? Like you say the last time you knew. When was the last time I owned a firearm?
When you came over here and you handed it to Kelsi.
Ma'am, Melissa, I'm just asking for a date.
I don't know when the date was.
Give me a rough estimate.
I
Me and
don't
Kel
know.
separated in November on Thanksgiving of last year. So anytime before that, can you have a date?
Last summer.
Last summer. Okay, incorrect.
Okay,
But,
so
okay.
just ask questions, don't make comments.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I will leave it at that right now, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Daniel, do you have any additional questions of this witness?
Yes, I do. I remembered some, and she's a witness to it. Ain't it true that Edward denied Lorenzo? He does not want nothing. He said Lorenzo wasn't his, and he does not want nothing to do with him when he was born. You were in
Yes.
the hospital with
Yes.
us.
Yes, he did. He walked out of the room and said that he didn't want nothing to do with Lorenzo, and Lorenzo was not his child.
Didn't he say? And is it true that he said that he regrets Lorenzo? That he thinks
Yes.
Lorenzo's somebody that I worked with at Denzo.
Yes, he did. He wouldn't buy him no diapers, no clothes, no nothing.
Can you give me a pen and can you give me a pen and pad? I want to write these down so I can. Thank you.
Anything
Oh, wait,
else,
I didn't mean-
Miss Daniel?
Huh?
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. With that, Mr. Daniel, you have a chance to do any recross. Is there any questions you have as a result of the plaintiff's redirect?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna word this. Melissa, wasn't I the only one working? I can't hear you.
Half the time.
Ma'am, did you say half the time?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I did catch that.
Okay, so you're saying half the time, even though I worked 8 years at Denzel. Got you. So who was paying for his diapers, wipes, and all his other needs? Because Kelsi wasn't working, correct?
For the other kids, you were paying
No,
for.
no. I'm asking, was Kelsi working?
She was working, yes.
No, she wasn't.
Okay, sir, you
Oh,
cannot
yeah, I'm sorry.
testify.
I'm sorry.
You can do that when you're testifying, but not when other witnesses are.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm starting to get like I'm really starting to get like how it goes. So who was the one who majority worked in the home? Me or Kelsi?
You was until you got fired.
Okay, thank you. So who paid majority of everything? Actually, who paid for everything?
Kelsi.
But she had no job.
She got food stamps.
Okie doke. So she paid for everything with food stamps. Got you. I don't know how that works. But okay. Your Honor, I'm not sure if I can ask this or not, but I forgot the first question. I didn't get a chance to write it down. That she asked her mom, but I know it was wrong. But can I ask if she can redo the first question?
No, you can't ask if she redo that, but best of the court's recollection, she said that it was concerns to Lorenzo when you had left the hospital, said that Lorenzo was not your child.
Okay, incorrect. All right.
Okay, sir, you can't
Oh, no,
comment on
I'm
what
sorry,
the
I'm sorry. No,
testimony is.
not you. I'm sorry, John.
So stop doing that, please. It's just interrupting the proceedings.
Okay. Is it true when I told Kelsi I wanted to wait till we got to her home before we had another child, 'cause I wanted to give a child a better house?
No.
That's not true? Okay. Can you tell me at what point did I walk out of the hospital when our youngest son was born?
When Lorenzo was born?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as she was about ready to give birth to Lorenzo, you walked out and said that he was not your son and you didn't claim him as your son.
And you do realize you're under oath, right?
Yeah, I am.
And you know what? I don't know if I can say that. I think I'm gonna be done.
Okay. Thank you.
That's exactly what you said.
Ma'am, there's no question for you.
Yeah.
Miss Daniel, well, I'll say, Miss Paparo, that concludes your testimony. So you're excused and you have a good day. Miss Daniel, your next witness.
Next, I got to get a hold of her. She's my grandma. Her name is Vivian Weingartner. I got to give her the same app, right?
If you want her to testify and she's not by Zoom, then yes.
Yes. Okay. Give me 1 second and I will get her. Okay. I need Nina. We got to give her the number and stuff so she can testify.
Molly, go. Molly, out.
Get out, dog.
Hi, Mom.
Okay. Sorry, Your Honor. We're on the phone with her now. We're gonna let her know.
Kelsi needs you as a witness. Now. Okay, there's a number Kelsi's gonna give you. All right.
If I could text it to you, Nina, right now, okay? You gotta call it and then put this other number in after you call this one number, okay? All right, I'll call you. All right, the number is 646 876 9923. Okay, and there's another number you gotta, after you call that number, you have to put this number in. You can connect. So 712 729 0704. Yep, and the second number is what you put in after you call the first number. You gotta testify against Edward in court for the alcohol and stuff. He's on, I'm still on the phone with him, Nina, right now, so you gotta call right now. We gotta hurry up and get this quick. The judge has other things he gotta do. All right, love you, bye. I love my grandma. She's so
Did I do it? Did I do it?
No, my finger. Stink.
Okay, Miss Daniel, please find a place and sit down. It's disruptive to be moving around.
Yep, I am. I had to go. She was in the bathroom, so that's where I was. That's why I'm coming back to sit down.
Mr. Daniel, I'll ask that you would find a place in set 2.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, Your Honor, but like I can't hear anything. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you fine, sir.
Okay.
Is this the number 269-845-5773?
Ms. Daniel, who is the individual that you're calling as a witness?
Vivian Weingartner.
How do you spell the last name?
Weinegardner.
Okay. Ms. Weingartner, what we're going to do is have you sworn in. We'll take some testimony from you at that point. And so if you would, we're going to swear you in at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Daniel.
Okay. Nina, ain't it true that Edward drinks a lot and drinks and drives with them children in the car?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Weingartner, I'm just going to preface this at this time. So you can testify as to what you observed or what in this case, Mr. Daniel has stated to you. You cannot testify as to what you did not observe. Okay.
Right. I understand.
Okay.
Okay. Now, haven't you seen Edward drinking? Like when you come down to visit, haven't you seen him not put that bottle down? You could smell it on his breath. He'll leave to go to the store to grab it, but he'll be drinking while he leaves.
Oh yeah, he drank a lot. Yes. One time he came down to see me, Edward and the kids and Kelsi. And he was drinking on his way down here and he drank on his way home.
Ma'am, how would you know he's drinking coming down there and on the way home? Did you observe that?
That's true.
Okay,
That's
please,
true. You got a good point.
Please don't testify as to what you do not observe.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Daniel.
No. When the last time you came down, didn't he have alcohol in his hand? He went to that store and grabbed that alcohol and he drank.
Yes. When he came home, he was drinking.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. When he had it already open.
Yeah. Well, he would sneak out into the kitchen and make like a dance out in the kitchen. Remember? And then and then he'd come back in, and you could go out in the kitchen and see it in the kitchen.
He would try hiding it, wouldn't he?
Yes.
We would find it. I mean, you would find it. You'd be like, "What's this?" Because he was trying to hide it from you because he wanted you to think that he wasn't drinking, right?
Right.
And he leaves the open alcohol bottles everywhere.
Yeah, I seen quite a few open bottles that the kids would get when you lived in the apartment.
Yep, the kids would get a hold of them. So I think that's it for right now, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Daniel, do you have any questions of this witness?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Miss Vivian,
Yes,
I'm gonna still be respectful. Is it true that I called you about Kelsi's PTSD when she was diagnosed from childhood trauma and abuse from her mother, Melissa?
he was not it. You talked to me about that, but now, she wasn't abused as a child.
Is it true that CPS was called multiple times on her mother and Kelsi had to lie and because she was threatened?
By who? Honey, I don't know. I don't know nothing about that.
Okay. How
Honey, I
is it
don't.
true when I call you about Kelsi bipolar disorder when she would have her rage and I tried to call you and talk to you about it?
You called me a couple times about it, yes.
Okay. And so is it true when Kelsi would like assault me or do anything, did I not call and tell you about those things?
Did you call, you're asking me if you called me, talk to me about it?
Yeah. I called and I talked to you about her assaulting me and all right. Thank you. Is it true that when ever me and Kelsi get in an argument, I would try to call and reach out to you or her mother to try to get her calmed down?
Now that, honey, I don't, you know, we've talked about so many things. I don't remember you calling and talking to me about her
When me and
anger
Kelsi would get
issues.
in an argument, I just want to know if it's true or not. When Kelsi would have those things, like her little fits of rage, is it true that I would call you? I can even quote you. You'd be like, well, I have to go right now. Is that true?
Yes, because Edward, I did not want to talk to you when you were drinking, and I could always tell when you were drinking.
Okay, doke. Next, is it true the reason why we was not allowed to sign another lease was because the neighbors was threatening and calling the officers and CPS because of the way Kelsi talked to the children?
I
You're
never
under
heard
oath.
of that, so
You're under oath.
I know I am.
Is it true? Have we or have we not had that conversation? Because I can't say.
I've not, yes, we have. Yes, we have. At that one apartment. Yes, we have. Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, that's all I have for right now.
Okay. Anything else, Miss Daniel, of this witness?
For the witness?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Weingartner, you're excused. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and you also.
Okay. Ms. Daniel, next witness.
I don't have any more witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you wish to testify, Ms. Daniel?
Yes.
Okay. We will have you sworn in then, if you would, raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am. What would you like to tell me?
About what he said, I am stable. I do have a stable house for me and my kids. I do have a job. No, I don't have my own car. I'm working on that. But my boyfriend, we have a car to get the kids back and forth to school, doctor's appointments, and stuff like that. Yes. And no, I do not talk badly to them kids. He's lying about that, and I'm telling you the truth. Him, yes, he does run around naked in front of them kids, which is the honest truth. I lived with this man for like years, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not going to jail or get in trouble for lying about anything. He chased my daughter around the house with a belt, Ariana, torturing her. I had a video in my phone, but it got deleted somehow. Ari calls me, tells me, like, video calls me and says things that I can't.
Okay, ma'am, you can't testify as to what the kids say.
Well, no, I know. But she tells me things that I can't do that. But what I seen myself is he is still drinking with them kids or whatever. Everybody in that house is not sober. I see it through the video chat with my kids. I can see it for myself. His girlfriend, well, weed is illegal, but she smokes it in front of kids. Her mom lives there, smokes for the kids. He's drinking. All the kids have to share a room. The boys are in the room with the girls. They gave the third bedroom, to her mom. So all them kids should not be in the room together. It's a fire hazard. I seen Kyrie and her son humping. They're mimicking everything that's going on in that house. Which is not okay. And Edward used to choke me up in front of my kids. The kids still talk about it to this day, and I just tell them, it's not your concern, you're a child. Be a child, don't worry about what you can't control. And they're traumatized from it. They're traumatized from the abuse I went through. He tried killing me in front of my kids. And he kicked me. He went to jail for kicking me in the stomach when I was pregnant with Kyrie. That is on record. I didn't press charges because I was afraid at the time, because I was pregnant, getting ready to give birth. So that's the only reason why I never pressed charges on him, because I was going to, but I was just afraid. And my son, he went to the hospital back when I was in the hospital when I was losing the baby for a seizure due to a fever. His fever should have never got that high. I know, because I was on the phone with my daughter. She called me and I was hearing him in the background crying and stuff like that. And I heard the doctors and stuff like that. I just don't think that he's really fit. And I want full custody of my kids. I really don't want to lose my babies. Those are my babies, my life, my everything. And that's all I got to say.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Daniel, do you have questions of this witness?
I actually do.
Okay, go ahead.
And this will be going towards Kelsi, correct?
Yes, any questions of her?
Okay. You made a statement about me kicking you in the stomach. On a police report, isn't it true that I accidentally bumped into you when you was breaking stuff around the house?
No, that's not true.
Okay, so the police statement is wrong.
I never tried breaking
Kyrie
anything.
was born in 2018, correct?
Yes.
And we separated in 2022, correct?
Yes.
And you made a statement that you was too afraid to make Well, you say you was too afraid to press charges, correct?
Yes.
So that's 4 years. But did we not?
What?
I have a question. When you, is it true that you decided that we should move to Texas because you was tired of the abuse from your mom?
Not abuse from mom. I was tired of not having family. So yes, I did say that we should move to Texas because I wanted family.
But if
I
you were
was feeling
so
unwell.
afraid, why would you want to move to a different state with a guy that was apparently abusing
Because if I was going to start over a whole new life, even if it was just by myself with my kids.
you? But we moved together, correct?
I moved by myself. You came after when you got out of jail.
You moved by yourself. Okay. But then we go to my family, my adopted family.
Yes, and I felt safer around them. Yes,
Yeah,
and I
you
felt
felt
safe. They
you,
weren't
you
going to let
felt
nobody
safer.
hurt
Okay,
me.
okay. That's all I needed. You felt safer with my adopted family than with your own family.
I didn't say you. I said your family. I felt safe with them. Not
Yeah,
you.
well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
You felt safer with my adopted family more than your abusive family.
They're not abusive. Do I
But
have marks on me?
well, I would like to ask a question. Isn't it true that you have PTSD from your childhood abuse from your parents?
What does PTSD have to do with anything?
Ma'am, he's asked the question, answer it, please.
No.
I would like to ask another question. Is it true that your mother's boyfriend put hands on our children?
No. It's not true.
So
It's not.
you're saying it's not true? Okay.
No, it's not true.
Is it true that your parents call our kids niggers?
No.
That's not true. And so if I call Jamar with the texts and the calls, would you admitting to that? Would he say it's true or not?
No, he wouldn't say it's true.
He wouldn't say it's true?
No. He wouldn't.
So you're saying your parents have never said anything racial about me or our kids?
They never said the N-word.
So your mother has never called me the N-word.
Well, called you, yes.
So she called me N-word. Is it true that they said they don't want our kids having those people hair? You're under oath.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Is it true?
How it was, bro.
Is it true that your mother told them they're more white than African American?
No. No. She said they have white in them. They're mixed, which is true. That's not, they're mixed.
And I said, Amara looks more white than she did.
I can't read that. All right. Is it true your mother took the kids out of school for days, which you told me, just so I couldn't pick them up?
No.
I have proof.
We took them out so I could spend time with them when they get out of school.
But is it true that she would take them out of school early so I couldn't spend time with them? Don't worry, I got the teachers and everything. Don't forget, we had the whole incident. It's all documented.
Not so you couldn't spend time with them, but so I can get them because you wasn't allowing me to have them. I had to go to the school. And if I couldn't do it, she had to go grab them for me because you would
But
not
is
allow
it
me
true
to-
though that? But it is true that
But not,
it is true that y'all pull them out of school.
we didn't pull them out early all the time, but
Is it true that y'all pulled
yes,
them out
I
of school?
just said yes. I just said yes, so I can have my baby, so I can spend time with my children.
How many times, like on a range, how much school you think they missed because y'all pulled them out of school? Just a range.
Not much.
Excuse me, I didn't hear that, ma'am. How much?
I said not much.
Like days, like a
No.
week, 2 weeks,
No, that's a lie.
all together, not like in a straight, like all together. Like if you accumulate it all into one, how much time do you think they missed out of school? Because we do have school records.
I don't know.
All right, Kelsi, is it true that I've been taking care of the kids by myself for the past 8 months?
No, that's not true. I've been having them on and off. That's not true.
When
I've
was the
been
last
giving
time you
them-
had the kids?
I was in and out the hospital. I was at high risk pregnancy, so yes, we had to
When
have
was the
kids.
last time you had the kids?
When's the last time I had the kids? Hold on. I'm asking mom because she might know. I don't remember.
Ma'am, hold on, ma'am. Nobody else can give you information. You're
Oh,
testifying.
Okay.
So I do not want, hold on, stop talking. I don't want them giving you information. I don't want them testifying. They had a chance to testify previously. This is the time for you to testify.
Okay. I do remember. Sorry, sir. I just had Kyrie like 2 weekends ago before his birthday. His birthday is June 6th. So the weekend before his birthday, I had Kyrie. I have my kids on and off. So that's a lie.
All right. No, you had Kyrie. We have 4
Yes.
children, but okay, it's not.
We got Lorenzo back. Right, that's
Isn't it
fine.
true that y'all had to put your mother had the police drop off Kyrie because not you, your boyfriend, or your parents want to take care of him?
That's not true.
Are you sure about that? There's police reports. The police came in my
That's
door
not
knocking.
why he got dropped off. I had to go to work.
Okay, so you had to go to work when I gave you our son so you can have time with him. But since you couldn't take care of him, you had the police come to home.
Care of my kids.
Yes or no?
Because you would not take him back.
Yes
you
or
were
no?
refusing to take him back. So yes, you're refusing.
Kelsi, yes or no? Y'all had the police drop our son off because you couldn't take care of him at the time, correct?
No, that's not.
Then why was the police there?
Because you were refusing to take him back when I told you I had to go to work.
But I gave you our son, and
I had
if- correct me if I'm wrong. You say I would not allow you to spend any time with the kids.
that
But
is correct. I have to.
no, I'm
force-
the point
You
I'm
got
trying to
Audrey
make
involved
is the point I'm trying to make is
Just ask the question, sir. You don't have to make a point. You have to ask the question.
oh yeah, I'm sorry, Yana. So you do get the kids, correct?
Audrey has no choice but to give them to me now. You're at
No.
work.
So you do get the kids, right?
Not here lately, no. Because you're the
But
one
you
that
do
don't
get the kids, right?
Yes.
And so where is it that I'm withholding the kids?
I have proof. Every time I've asked for those kids, oh, we're doing something. Oh, I can't do it today.
Okay. Do you have a way for our kids, all 4 of them, to be cared for while you're working a full time when you and your boyfriend, your current boyfriend, both work first shift?
My fiance. But yes, I do. I have somebody to watch them. Yes, I do.
Who is that?
I have a babysitter. That is none of your business.
Okay.
They have somebody to watch them. I'm not.
No, I have one final question. We separated on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes.
Who has the children primarily stayed with? And who taking care of them? Me or you?
Both.
That's a
I have
lot.
the kids on and off, so both. It's not
Okay.
allowed.
That's fine. I can only ask questions. Out of the past 8 months, who have the children lived with the most?
Just get to the point because you won't give them to me like that.
Who have the children lived with
He's breaking up in his eyes.
the most in these last 8 months?
How can I have my kids if you don't give them to me? And I have to snatch them
I,
anyway.
only thing I need is
Ma'am,
you or me.
that's not the question, okay? He's asked you, who have the children been with the last 8 months? Ma'am, don't look to somebody else for an answer.
No, I'm not. Sorry. I'm thinking. He has. Because
Okay.
he won't give them to me. Like I want them. He's refusing.
I have
go
another
see
question.
Audrey.
I have another question. I thought that
So
was my
that's not
last
my
one,
fault.
but
That's not my
all these
fault.
questions, like they're filling my mind. Okay. Is it true that you claim all the kids on food stamps, correct?
Yes, because we're supposed to have joint custody. And I've been giving you food stamps for the kids when you have them.
All right. How much do you think you've given me within these 8 months? Wait, before I do that, how much do you get in food stamps a month?
I don't get much. I'm getting cut off.
I need a number. You know the number because you checked the food stamps. How much do you get a month?
I don't know. I don't check them
You-
like that. No, I don't.
How much do you get in food stamps a month? You check it. We have records. That's why you're being investigated right now. You know. It's well past 1,000. We know this. You're under oath. Please don't lie.
I'm not lying. I just.
Ma'am, if you don't know specifically, approximately what?
Actually, 900.
900. I'm pretty sure it's 1,206.
Hey, sir, you can't testify at this point.
Okay. I apologize. So you say 900, right?
I don't check like that. I just go grocery shop and I get them. And I just
No, it's fine.
For the kids.
For the past 8 months, how much have you given me in food stamps to pay for our kids' food? Oh wait, I'm sorry. You get WIC as well, right?
For Lorenzo, but I had Lorenzo up until May of this month.
But you get WIC as well, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes
for
or no?
Lorenzo. Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I had Lorenzo for a whole year.
So for the past, we haven't been separated for a year, so that don't make sense.
Well, almost a year.
We're not even close to a year. But anyway, how much do you think you've given me in food stamps to pay for our kids? Even though
Don't do that because
you already said that I've had the
gave you
kids. You already admitted that I've had the kids, but you still get the food stamps for them. I can't. How much do you think you've given me?
I don't know.
For
But
food
you said
stamps.
you didn't need them. At first, you said you didn't need them. You got the food. I have text messages. I told you I've been offering them since the day I left. Hey, when I get the food, we'll split it. Some for
Okay,
my house. some for-
ma'am, the question was, how much have you given him in the last 8 months from the sources that you have, food stamps, WIC, et cetera?
That I don't know.
Well, approximately then.
Mm, I don't know.
Was it $100, $200? What?
More than that. I know it's more than that. Is it close to 600, 5 to 600, something around there?
Is that your answer, 500 to 600?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
But you get 900 a month, right? And so for 8 months, that's all I've got. Okay. Is it true
You said you didn't need it.
that
I offered.
is it true that Kyrie has severe food allergies, right?
Yes.
He can't have dairy,
Right.
he can't have any nuts, and he can't have gluten, correct?
Exactly. So I get the stuff that he needs on the food stamps. Yes.
So for 8 months, you know what? That would be nice. Let's say you gave me 500. What about the rest of the months? Who
You,
was paying for all the food in the house
you,
to
but
support our kids?
What was that, ma'am?
But you said you did not need my food stamps. I said he did, but you told me when I tried offering you food stamps first, you said you did not need it. So don't lie. Yes, you did. Because I was like, hey, I got food stamps. You want it? No, I don't need it. I got cash. You can keep your food stamps, keep the kids on it. That's what you said. So let's not lie. Stop trying to make yourself look innocent because you did tell me that. I even have proof in text messages.
All right.
I tried multiple times.
know
Hey,
what?
I got the record.
No. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm not trying to be rude. I pulled my 401k out in September, correct?
Yes.
We were still together, right?
Actually, it was in November. You pulled it out, not September. It was
No,
in
I didn't
November.
pull it out in November. It was September. I have the receipt.
Oh,
So
okay.
September, when I did
Hey,
get fired from my
sir,
job.
you're not testifying now. Don't try to. Ask her questions.
Okay. So we pulled it out in September, correct?
I know.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I pulled it out in September, correct?
Okay. Yes.
We used that money to take care of the kids. That's correct.
No, not we. That's not correct. Not we. You. I didn't see none of that money. You. I didn't
But
see
we
none
was
of that
living
money.
together, correct?
No, I moved out right after.
You moved out in
Right
November.
when you got that money.
Hold on. I understand. But you moved out in November, correct?
Yes, I did.
What? So September, October, November. That's 3 months. But we were still together, correct? Until
Yes.
November. So we used that money.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't because I wasn't there. You got it as soon as I left.
No,
So
we
that's
got
why.
you just said
No.
we got it in September because
No, you applied to get it.
we
in
have the
September.
receipts.
Yes.
Okay. What's the relevance of this, Mr. Daniel? There are no property disputes in this case.
Oh no, I was trying to get to a point, Your Honor.
Well, please
But
do.
I'm sorry if I'm wasting time. I can move past that.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, do you have more questions, Mr. Daniel?
You know what, Your Honor, I'm done.
Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a brief recess. I have another matter that I had to take at 10:30. So it'll probably take about 10 minutes, so we'll put you back in the waiting room for about 10 minutes, then we'll bring you back in and then we'll continue, okay?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
We are back on the record.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption. We had an arraignment that we had to do on a case from another judge. That other judge is not in the office today, so we had to do it. So I'm sorry for the interruption. Mr. Daniel, do you have more questions of the plaintiff at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Daniel, I do have some questions.
Yes.
You said that approximately 2 weekends ago, you had Kyrie with you, but you didn't have the other children, is that correct?
Yes, because he wasn't giving them up.
Okay, not asking you why, I'm just asking you, please just answer my questions. It's gonna go a lot easier if you answer what I ask.
Yes, I had
Okay.
Kyrie 2 weeks ago.
Now, the incident that you mentioned, you said that you had Kyrie with you, you had him for the weekend, and you had to go to work, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What time and what date did you have to go to work? Or day, if it was a Saturday, Sunday, whatever it might be. What day and what time?
It was a Thursday. It's from 6:30 to 3.
That's when you work?
Yes, this is 6:30 to 3 o'clock. Sometimes we work over, so it could be 6:30 to 6:30. Like yesterday, I worked 6:30 to 5.
Okay, when you say 6:30 to 3, is that 6:30 a.m. or 6:30 p.m.?
a.m. in the morning,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay. And so you said you had Kyrie, you said 2 weekends ago, then you're now saying it's a Thursday. So you're confusing me. Was it a weekend or was it during the week?
I had him on the weekends, and so I had to give him back because I had to go to work. I had to get everything ready to go to
Okay,
work.
you're missing my question. You said you had him for the weekend, but it was a Thursday when you had to work and go back. That Thursday is not on the weekend. So explain to me how you had him on Thursday when you had him on the weekend.
No, I just had him on the weekend and I gave him back.
Okay, so it wasn't a Thursday?
No, I went to work on Thursday, yes, but no, I didn't have him on Thursday. That's what you're.
Okay, I don't know why you brought up Thursday then, but okay. And I asked you, when did you have to have Kyrie back and the police involved, and you said Thursday. So that's wrong, correct?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. I was confused.
Okay. What day and what time did the police get called and have to transport your son back to the defendant?
Wait, the police didn't get called that day. The day that we took him back, they did not get called that day.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
So on the that weekend, when did you take him back?
We took him back, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. It was one of those days, Your Honor.
Okay. So the defendant would have let you head Kyrie for, let's presumably for Friday through Monday or Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next question, which you were trying to anticipate and answer, why did you not have all of the kids?
They would not give them to me. I wanted them all, but they would not give them to me.
Okay. What was the incident in which you talked about the police having to be involved in apparently take Kyrie home?
I can't remember what day it was, Your Honor,
Well,
but I
approximate.
remember.
Are we talking a month ago, a year ago? What?
I think a couple months.
Tell me what happened.
I was having complications with my pregnancy. I was at a high risk. I was basically dying. They had to save my life, and the baby ended up dying. So I was like, "Hey, I cannot have I cannot have him here. I got to go to the hospital. So you need to take him because I'm in and out the hospital all the time." And they were refusing. "Well, you wanted him. You keep him." I'm like, "I'm having health problems. I don't want my son here to witness
Okay.
this." So I had to call the cops.
So he was with you, and you said a couple months ago. And for what period of time was he with you? From the start, when he first came to you, until the time that he ended up going back to the defendants?
I think it was only a couple days. I think he was only with me a couple days. I can't remember, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay. If you were having problems during that time, as you said, you were in and out, et cetera, why did you take him in the first place if you were having health problems and you couldn't care for him?
Because like I said, I was dying and I wanted to spend some time with my child just in case if I did pass away. I wanted to get that time in with him because he's so young.
Okay.
And I love my baby boy to death. Like I love all my kids. Like it scared me
Okay.
that I almost lost my life.
That's fine. So let's go back to, so you separated in approximately on Thanksgiving of 2022, correct?
Yes.
And after you separated, the children went and stayed with defendant, correct?
Not all four of them. I had Lorenzo up until May, the beginning of May. And I had, but the kids.
May of this year?
Yes, Your Honor. Lorenzo just went back with his dad. Like he's only been there for like what, month and a half, month maybe.
Why was Lorenzo, why did he not go with defendant?
He goes with me everywhere I go because dad really didn't want him. So I took care of him from the time that I left Edward up until I was basically dying. So I was like, okay, you got to go back to your dad until I
Okay,
can get my health back.
so at the time that you left, you're saying you left, correct?
Yeah.
You kept Lorenzo with you and through approximately May.
Yes. Yep. And just had the other kids on and off, but I have had the kids on and off.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question is, in December of 2022, how many days were the children in your care?
I'd keep them, the children, well, at least the three, because Mara doesn't like to come be with me. She's a daddy's girl. I've been trying to get her to come with me, but the other three, or the other two, I should say, they would stay with me for like a couple days out the week, and then they'd go back to their dad, and then I'd have to fight with him on getting them back. And then I finally had enough and go get them from school. They'd stay with me for about, Ari, she stayed with me longer than Kyrie. She stayed with me like 2 a week or 2. and then go back to her dad. And then Kyrie would be like couple days.
Okay, let's
and
break,
all that.
let's break this down. You said in December 2022 that they would come and stay with you a couple days a week, correct?
Yes.
Throughout all of December 2022.
Yes, I
Right.
get them on and off. Yes.
Okay, let's go to January 2023. Did that continue?
Yes.
How about February 2023?
Yes, with Ari, yes. And Kai, yes.
Okay, March of 2023,
Yes.
same?
Yeah.
And April 2023?
No,
No what?
no, I didn't get the kids in April.
Okay, so you didn't have them at all in April.
No, just Lorenzo.
May of 2023.
Nope.
And how about so far in June of 2023?
Just Kyrie for the weekend, like I said, and that's about it.
Okay,
I just want my kids back.
ma'am, you're aware, aren't you, in these cases, if a parent is denying you time with the children, you have a right to file a petition and ask the court to order that person would turn the kids over to you. Are you aware of that?
No, Your Honor, I didn't know because I got denied multiple times.
You got denied what multiple times?
Like a lot to keep my kids. Like that's why I
Okay.
had to go get them from school.
That wasn't
because-
my question. Please pay attention to my question. My question was, are you aware that if you are denied parenting time, you have a right to come into court and file a petition and say, I want parenting time?
No, I didn't know that, Your Honor.
Okay. You said that you're working at Denso, correct?
I'm not at Denso, I will tell you, but I just don't want their father to know where I'm working at. I can let you know, I just don't want him to be involved when I tell you.
Well,
I don't know if we can mute him out so I can
no,
tell you.
we can't mute him out. He's entitled to be in the hearing. So you're working. When did you start working?
I will look at the calendar. I just been working so much, it's hard to keep. Oh. The 1st,
The first of what?
June. I went back to work as soon as I healed up after my surgery.
Okay, 1st of
Yeah.
June, 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. And where you work, how much do you make per hour?
16 an hour.
Are there any bonuses, any other amounts of money that? What?
Yes, there's bonuses. If we work over, we will get paid $17.50 an hour. And then we get holiday pay.
Okay.
And
But no bonuses as far as performance bonuses or things of that nature.
not that I know of, not that
Okay.
I know of right now.
And do you work 40 hours a week?
Yes, actually more than that, because we do overtime, so
Okay.
more.
How much do you work on average per week?
Average would be 40.
Okay. Do you have any expenses that come out of that other than taxes, such as union dues, uniform expenses, anything else?
No, just taxes.
Okay.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
In a moment.
Okay.
Okay, what else would you like to tell me, ma'am?
I get paid every week, every Friday, so it's never, no 2 weeks. I get paid every week.
Okay. Anything else that you would like me to be aware of, ma'am?
Yes. Since how we was talking about me having a baby out of wedlock, even though my son is dead. What about him? When we were together, he had sex with my blood sister. Her name is Brandy Reed. And can't we do something about that too?
Well,
And he's cheated on me multiple times.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that's in relation to either your cross-examination or the court's questioning that you have to add at this time?
No.
No? Okay. Mr. Daniel, as a result of the court's questioning, do you have any additional questions?
Not at this moment, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that will conclude your testimony then, ma'am. And you said, I think you said that you have no other witnesses.
No, I would have, but can't speak upon what she told me because she's not here to verify it. I
Okay,
do
well,
have
my question again, you don't have other witnesses, correct?
I don't.
Okay. And so you rest your case, ma'am?
Yes.
And you're done?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Daniel, again, we're at a point where you can now present your witnesses. So you have witnesses to present.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and who are you going to call as your first witness?
My first witness will be Audrey Woodson, a family friendly.
Okay, and is Miss Woodson, has she joined on Zoom or joining it by phone?
I would like to join by phone, Your
Okay,
Honor, but I could not get the number.
okay,
So that'll be okay with the court.
yep, we'll give you the number. We're sending it to you on your device. They'll have to put in the Zoom ID number. Are they doing it Zoom or by telephone as the other witnesses?
Do you have Zoom? Okay, we can do it by Zoom. Let me
Okay.
get the Zoom ID.
Then
I know she
Zoom,
has Zoom. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the 712-729-0704 number. It's
Yep.
in your chat, Zoom chat.
It's the second number. The first number is the phone number. The other one is the Zoom number.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really trying to figure out how to do the whole
Okay.
Zoom thing.
Did you get the number? Can you see it, or do I need to repeat?
I currently do not see a number.
Okay, it's 712
712
729
729
0704.
0704.
No, what? That, he didn't say the number right.
What?
It would be Judge Kirk.
The last word is 07.
I hope it
That's
says
what I said.
the judge's name right. I'm really bad with saying people's names.
She's not a witness. He's lying. She hasn't witnessed anything. She hasn't seen it. Only what he tell her. That's what she knows.
Okay, ma'am, if you're going to talk to somebody in the background, mute yourself.
How do you do that?
There's a mute button in the bottom left corner of your computer.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Another-
Were you able to get in? Okay. The judge
Okay,
is
is
going to be
that,
there.
are you Miss Woodson?
Yes.
Not connected to the.
What?
She's not connected to the audio yet.
She is, I can hear her.
No, that was they're in the same, they.
Oh,
need
I
to say
see.
the Same
Okay.
thing, they're,
Okay, Miss Woodson, you're gonna have to get in a different area of the home so that we don't have echo and reverberation, so you're gonna have to move.
All right. I'm about to go. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Is that better, Your Honor?
Miss Woodson, if you could talk, okay, we couldn't hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, I just figured the audio out.
Okay, great. We can hear you now. What we're gonna do is we'll have you sworn in, then we'll proceed. So if you would, raise your right hand, please.
ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Daniel.
Adriana, is it true that Kelsi will leave Lorenzo unattended for multiple hours?
Yes.
Oh,
Can you explain it?
Being on a phone call with her, hearing the child screaming in the background for over 3 hours, and not once did I see her pick the child up or tend to him.
Miss Adriana, would it be safe to have you witnessed the abuse? Oh, that's leading. Sorry. Can you describe Kelsi's parents, Melissa, and her new stepdad now, Joel?
Stepfather Joel, very racist. Mother, also racist. Don't like either one of them.
But what do you mean by that? Have you seen?
I have Joel talk about the children's hair. And also Kelsi Daniel has also called me multiple times, talking about how she can't stand it because she can't have her kids where she was living at the time because her mother is racist and the person that her mother was with was putting his hands on the children, so she could not have her kids over there.
Okay, ma'am, I didn't clarify. You said that the plaintiff told you this, is that?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure that that was correct. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Adriana, I'm sorry. Hold on. Adriana, can you give me the best statement of the children's living conditions when you first got to my home when Kelsi left?
It was good when I came here. They seemed great. They were happy, well taken care of, food, clothes, bedrooms.
What about academics?
Oh, excellent. They were achieving very well in school until this divorce started happening.
And you are a family friend. You've known me and Kelsi For how many years?
About 5-6 years.
At any time, did you witness any type of abuse or neglect on either of our ends?
Not on Edward's end. He was usually at work most of the time. On Kelsi's part, when I would come into her home, it would not be picked up the best. Her son would usually be in a soiled diaper. I mean, they run around and just mess the house up. She doesn't really do much. She's more of a friend than a parent, I would say.
Okay. I have a more serious question.
Okay.
Are we polyamorous?
Yes.
Have me, you, and Kelsi ever all of three of us engaged in sexual relations?
Yes.
Did she live with us for a brief period of time?
At the home here?
Yes.
Yes. Like live with us? Not live with us, but she would not leave as asked.
Okay. I know this is gonna be weird, but do the children at any point walk in on all three of us engaging in adult activities?
Of my recollection, no.
Okay. I have been arrested, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember? Do you know what I was arrested for?
A old speeding ticket.
That's all I have right now, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Daniel, do you have any question of this witness?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So when do I leave my baby unattended? Because I never leave him unattended. I'm always with him all the time when I had him. Never unattended. Yeah, he cried. That's just how he was.
I have seen Lorenzo in a car seat locked up, not able to get out. And I have screenshots as well of you, Kelsi Daniel, saying that you can't take him out because he gets into too many things. So he's locked up for hours at a time.
That's a lie. No, he's not.
Ma'am, this isn't your time to make comments. It's your time to ask questions.
Okay. Where was he locked up in a car seat at?
At Jamar's house.
Supposedly, he was locked up.
Go ahead, ma'am.
The home where she resides at, her boyfriend's house.
But you've never been there, correct?
Oh, it was video call. I screen recorded it.
Video call, but
Yes.
so is it, never mind. So is it true you were never a witness to anything? Edward's just telling you things.
No, I've been a witness. I have known you for over 5 to 6 years.
Liar.
Ma'am, I'm not going to warn you again. Do not make editorial comments. You can ask questions or otherwise be quiet. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Go ahead if you have any more questions.
So are you not, is it true you're Edward's girlfriend?
We are partners.
Because it's on Facebook.
We're partners. We're in a domestic partner relationship. I help him with his children and he helps me with mine.
Is it true you got my son calling you mom? All my kids, you're forcing them to call you mom.
Your oldest 2 children, Amara and Ariana, they call me Mama Audrey. Your 2 youngest boys, they on their own have chosen to call me mother because of my motherly role. I cannot help that they call me mom. I have multiple times told them to refrain to me as Audrey, and they insist to call me mom. So I can't stop a child from saying that.
So, is it true that you used to be on meth?
Yes, I am now sober since December of 2022.
So, is it true that you smoke all the time?
I smoke cigarettes and I use medical marijuana. I smoke outside of my home or in my bathroom with my door locked, and my bathroom is in my bedroom. So
it's true that you're high a lot with my kids around.
there is
No one.
another adult in the home who is sober at all times. And I only smoke twice a day for my anxiety and my medical problems that have no recollection of anything that have to do with this case, but yes.
From what I witnessed when I lived with you guys, your mom smokes weed with you all the time. But when I'm on the phone when I video call with the kids, ain't it true that she's in the room smoking weed with you? I see it all the time when I'm on the phone with them. So
Ma'am,
nobody
is
shows
that,
me.
is
I know
that a
that.
question?
It's true. Was that right? Yes, that's the question, Your Honor. Yes.
So can you repeat your question, please?
I said, ain't it true when I'm on video with my kids, I see you and your mom smoking weed together? I know what weed looks like.
Because your children are never in the room with me when I'm smoking weed. That is not true.
Then how do I see you and your mom smoking
How
weed?
would you see
I
me
would
and
not.
another person smoking marijuana around children when there's never any children around me? And if you're on the phone with your children, how would you be able to see me? You call my phone, that's on my time. When you call your children's phone, that's on their time and your time.
Yes, I've seen it on your phone too when we video call too. You and your mom are in the room smoking. Is it true?
With no children around, and when we are smoking, your soon-to-be ex-husband is here with the children.
But
And
isn't it true that he
if
drinks?
he's not here, is it true what?
That he drinks too. Don't
He
lie,
has
Your-
approximately 2 double shots a day, which is way under the legal limit in the state of Michigan.
But it's still true that nobody's sober in that house with them kids. You're under oath. You have to tell the truth
I am sober. I'm sober right now.
right now. Yes.
And every single time I have to watch any children, I am sober. It takes an hour for the weed to be completely out of my system. My body does not hurt anymore, and I can proceed to be the best parent I can possibly be.
Is it true that you smoke weed and drive with my children in the car?
Absolutely not. I have never smoked marijuana in the car with any child at all, ever. That's literally insane, but yeah, no.
Is it true that all the kids sleep in one room?
Is it what?
Is it true that all the kids sleep in one room, the boys and the girls?
Yes, it is. There is a twin size bed in the room, and then there is also a bunk bed with 2 sets of twin size beds. There is approximately 4 children, and your youngest son, Lorenzo, sleeps in our room, and he has his own toddler bed in here.
So is it safe to say that, I'm asking a question, ain't that dangerous for all the kids to be in one room if the fire happens?
No, it is not. In the state of Michigan, there can be 2 to 4 bodies of children per room. It is not wrong. They are inappropriate sometimes. Yes, these are children. They are learning.
But that's all I have to ask.
Okay, that's all you have, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Woodson, if you would, you talked about the, again, the home situation, the environment and the kids. You said the kids are happy, et cetera.
Oh, yes.
Do you notice, do the kids express any love, affection for their father?
Oh, absolutely. Last weekend it was Father's Day, and they were ecstatic to come in here and give him hugs, gifts, and stuff.
Okay. You say they hug, do they kiss, do they embrace?
Oh, yeah.
What?
He gives them all kisses on the forehead. They hug. I mean, they love their dad. It's very obvious that they do.
Okay. You said that at the time of the separation, that they said the kids were doing well in school.
Yes.
How are they doing now?
Well, we have two of the older girls in summer school to help during this divorce. Unfortunately, Kelsi Daniel had to have the police at the school multiple times for her own reasoning, and that has affected the kids a lot. They have said it's embarrassing. They have said that.
Okay, you can't tell me what the kids say.
Okay.
So you have the two older, you have Amara and Ariana in
Summer
summer
school.
school. Okay. And Kyrie, how is he doing?
I work with him here at the house. He does great in school. We're working on pronouncing our words and writing our name better right now.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am, that you would like me to be aware of?
No, I
Okay.
mean, no, not that I can think of right now.
Okay. With that, Mr. Daniel, do you have any addition, as a result of my court's question or the cross, do you have any additional questions of this witness?
Not this moment, Your Honor.
Okay. And as a result of my questions, Ms. Daniel, do you have any additional questions?
I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Woodson, that will conclude your testimony. Thank you, and you're excused. Have a good day.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, Mr. Daniel, you have any additional witnesses other than yourself?
I may have, but I would like to ask politely, like, is there an age range for the witness?
Well, I mean, the only age range is the witnesses have to be of sufficient maturity to know right from wrong and how to tell the truth, so.
I have no additional witnesses at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, other than yourself, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, why don't we do this? I see it's about getting close to 11:30. Why don't we take a noon recess? We'll break and then we'll come back at 1 o'clock, okay?
1 o'clock?
Yep,
Okay.
come back at 1 o'clock and we'll resume at that time.
The 37th Circuit Court is back in session with the Honorable Brian K. Kirkham presiding. It is Friday, June 23rd, 2023 at 1:05 p.m. Continuing with case 2023-41 DM, Kelsi Daniel versus Edward Daniel.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
Daniel, we ended at the point where you would be testifying, so what we'll do is have you raise your right hand and then we'll have you sworn in and then we'll proceed.
Okay. Sir, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and tell me what you'd like me to be aware of, sir.
I'm gonna try to keep it as brief as possible.
Well, make sure it's as thorough as possible.
Okay. I really believe like kids should have both their parents, but right now I want them to have an environment where they feel like they can thrive and really succeed. Because like as a child that went through foster care and later was adopted, and the stuff that's going on over there, right now, I don't believe that's the best for them right now.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me what stuff you're talking about, stuff going on over there. That doesn't tell
Okay.
me anything.
First off, just the way our kids are treated. her mother's new boyfriend, he's assaulted both our kids. A CPS case about it. There's her, like, the way, like, she texted our daughter, say she might be homeless because her boyfriend, her current boyfriend, is talking to somebody about somebody else, and she don't know if she's gonna have a place to stay. On top of that, it's just crap. This is way harder than I thought. When there's stuff like when I first met my wife, me and my family, we want to help her get her GED because she wanted to get her GED. I would work and I would come home, I would buy her books, we would study, and her mother would tell her, hey, that's too hard for you. And so she gave it up. When we tried to get a place, our very first apartment together, before we even got married, her mom was still her social security checks because at the time she was on disability because she has bipolar. And her mom told her to lie and tell me how much she got. Eventually that came out and her mom got upset. Then there's a fact that when she was 15, her mom was on her date, like a dude who's almost in his 30s, and allowed them to sleep together. I'm not saying this to be like rude or anything, but like this is like the reason why I want to right now have custody of the kids so she can get the environment away from that negative influence. Because the same person that been whispering and doing all this whole court interview is the same person. She was almost gang raped. These guys took their mother's phone, Kelsi phone, and told her she couldn't have it back. Otherwise, they all got to have intercourse. And her mother's response was, "Hey, they just messing around. We get our first place together, and I'm working, and I'm tickling her, and her mother calls, and all of a sudden, the police at my door. Turns out, while we was playing around tickling, she didn't hang up the phone. Her mom called the police and told them that her daughters had been assaulted. The police came. I had to step outside. They interviewed us, and it was like, sorry. Her mother's right there waiting. We would play fight, and she used to get upset. Like, well, we won't play fight anymore. I'm like, we can't. We was play fighting, and we was wrestling, and I did accidentally hit her on the lip. And the police came. I will work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And hey, he's not doing enough. So I'll work 12 hours, come home at lunch, tuck the kids in the bed, get them to sleep. He's not doing enough. I will do more and more and more. I'm just really terrified that, like, if my kids are brought up in that environment in 10 to 15 years, I'm not trying to be rude, but like you might be seeing them in your courtroom one day, be like, hey, I remember your name. I don't want that. And so right now I'm trying to build my kids up to be successful, to get an education. Not like a mom who encourages her 14-year-old daughter to drop out in 9th grade. I want them to be in an environment where they succeed. Like Kelsi stated earlier, she felt safe from my family because I don't like saying my adopted family, but I think I have to clarify that. I am adopted, and my adopted family, only thing we strive for is to try to better ourselves. And when I got adopted, it changed my life, especially being in foster care. Like, I've seen too many people just like her. And I thought I could change that. I couldn't. It is true. I did get arrested for operating while visually impaired, but there's no excuse for that. And like, I still own up to it because that was my fault. But Kelsi was there. I had gotten off work Friday. We was doing 12s. We got a 3-day weekend. Got off work. I was at home playing the game, and I was drinking with my friends. And then Kelsi was right there, and we got the call. It was like, "Hey, my girlfriend kicked me out. I have nowhere to go." And this is like February. It was still cold out. I told Kelsi, "Hey, I'm gonna give him my room. He can stay here for a night." Blah blah blah. I did end up getting pulled over when I picked him up because turns out him and his girlfriend had assaulted each other, and the police was actually looking for him. And they pulled us over at a gas station. I blew a .083. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But I do not drink and I do not drive with my kids in the car. That is false. But ever since then, I can't go out. I can't go out with my friends. I can't, like, if I go out and try to even have a beer, it's always he drank too much at the school. Even the teachers, the principal is like, "Hey man, we got you. No matter what happens, the police are always called." And it's always, "Oh, he drank too much." And every single time I pass, like, yo, I don't drink like that. I don't. I'm like, yo, I can't. If I have a beer, suddenly, yep, he's an alcoholic. I'm like, no. That's why I continue to get tested. Even right now, I could come in and I'll still pass. Only thing I'm worrying about right now is honestly just the well-being. I don't want my kids growing up in ghettos. I don't want my kids to be in an environment where, like, I hate to say it, they're discriminated against. Like, they can't have their hair. They can't have, like, her mother and their family. I don't like playing a race. I don't like talking like this. I'm not trying to play a race card, but like, they're racist. They don't like us. And then we have Kelsi on the phone telling new guy, like, I'm gonna try to get his money and hope I can get his money this time, or hope I can get this. Her parents, or her mother, sitting there, "Hey, come on, I'm gonna take, it's gonna get child support. We'll get child support for you. You can stay with me, but you gotta pay me." It's just like, I don't want my kids to be a money grab. They're more the kids. They're not asked to be here. But it's our responsibility as parents to try to do what's right for them. That's my only thing. I'm done.
Okay. Ms. Daniel, do you have any questions of the defendant?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Since when did I tell you that my boyfriend wanted money from you? Or you wanted money from him or something? I never said that. That's a lie.
Ma'am, this is your time to ask questions, not to
Yes.
respond to anything he said. Understand?
Yes.
I've only admonished you a few times. If I keep going to do this, I'm not going to let you speak. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so don't do it again. Go ahead and ask your questions.
Okay, so when does CPS get involved with so-called Joel abusing our kids? 'Cause when did that happen? Where's the case?
CPS was involved, and I'm trying to think.
That's not what I'm asking. When?
When CPS had to come to our house when they was doing an investigation because Kyrie humped Audrey's son, and then the abuse case came up because you guys kept calling CPS to try to get a CPS case opened against us, and then they was all cleared out. And Amara, Ariana, and Kyrie all admitted to CPS that Joe had kicked Kyrie and that he had hit Lorenzo. You know this because you was there.
No, I was not. No.
Ma'am, it's not your time to testify or make remarks. You ask questions. Any other questions?
I'm thinking, Honor. Okay, is it true that you and Audrey are about to have a baby together? You're trying.
No.
Isn't it true that I'm not a bad mother?
It's not true. I wouldn't say that you're a bad mother. It's just you have bad influences, and the people around you are not great influences. That's why Amara feels the way she feels about you, because like even your sister, like Tiara, our family friend, we have Audrey. Like we all keep telling you, like we can still hear your mother in the back trying to coach you. All she does is bring you down. You're not a bad mother. It's just that your mother's been manipulating and trying to control your whole life because she get a check from you. And you even admit it. You know your mom don't care about you. She just want a check. You can't rely on your mother because she takes everything from you. Your mom stole your WIC card for like how many months now? You don't use eggs. She says you don't use eggs and you don't use the milk, so she took your card. So where has your WIC card been?
You're asking me a question now?
No, he
I'm
can't
sorry.
ask you questions. You ask the questions, Miss Daniel.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I was sorry. Because he started asking me a question.
It was rhetorical, but go ahead.
I really don't know what else to ask right now.
So do you have any more questions?
I have questions for you, Honor, from you. It's something I wanted to know that I forgot to ask you, if that's okay.
I mean, let's do with this first. Are you done asking questions of the defendant?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And what question did you have for me?
When since how he got his 401k when we were married and the tax money, can I go after that too? Am I able to get that?
No,
'Cause I didn't need-
no, you're not, because I'll tell you what happens is in the case scheduling order, when you were at the scheduling conference, you identified the issues that were in dispute. And the issues that were in dispute were custody, support, parenting time, spousal support. You did not address any property issues. In fact, stated there were no property issues. So you can't go in at the day of trial when we've went all the way through these proceedings and now bring up something at the last minute when the case is 169 days old.
Okay, understandable.
So, okay, I have some questions for you, sir, in view of your testimony. Where are you working at now?
I work at Musashi Auto Parts.
Okay. And how much do you make per hour?
23.
Okay. And do you have any other source of income other than from Musashi?
I'm currently in the process of starting a small business. I can't really give you a figure, but like we made about 3,000 in the last 3 months.
Okay. Now, when you say we made 3,000, is that gross revenue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know how much the net was?
To be honest, at this moment, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. You said that you had a OWI sometime back. When did that occur?
I had OWVI, operating while visually impaired. I didn't have an OWI, sir.
Okay, so you had an
And
OWI, you had you had a DUI, then driving while impaired.
no, I had operating while visually impaired, sir.
Okay, when did that occur?
That occurred in 2019 of March.
Okay.
Actually, Your Honor, I'm sorry. That was actually 2016.
Okay. Explain to me your relationship with your children.
Mostly, I don't know if I can really put in words. Like it's more like a southern father. Like I want to see my kids succeed, and so my kids always come to me advice. They come to me and tell me like stuff that's happening at school, academically. Like if my kids don't understand anything, they come to me because they feel like I always have the answers. And most of the time I read like most like basic elementary stuff. I got it. But like they come to me for everything. And so we usually just we sit down, we talk. Our relationship is, I think, getting closer to the ideal relationship of like a TV dad. I'm sorry to say it like that, but that TV dad that comes home from work and the kids can come and talk to their dad and communicate. That's it, Your Honor. That's the best way I can explain.
Okay.
Mhm.
The plaintiff had testified that that she had Lorenzo up until approximately sometime in May. Is that correct?
I don't know if I'm being rude, but this might be really distasteful. But is it okay if I ask her when did she lose that poor
No.
child?
If you don't know, you don't know.
Well, I know it was around the time that she was getting ready to lose that.
Yeah, I
The
understand. I
child.
understand that. I understand that. I'm just saying you
Well,
don't
I
know
said-
when it was. It's not time to question her at this point.
You gotta talk
Yeah,
about
I was trying to get a time frame.
I understand. How often between, let's say, November and approximately May, during that time, how often did you have Lorenzo in your care?
2 months.
Okay, was it a 2 months at a period of time? Was it 2 months over?
I can't remember, like over a time period.
Okay. And I take it from what has been said that Amara does not visit the plaintiff. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But the other two children, Ariana and Kyrie, they do visit her?
Yes, whenever we can have a rain time to do it, they do. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, sir, that you would like me to be aware of?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Daniel, as a result of my questioning, do you have any additional questions?
no.
No? Okay, thank you. Well, it looks like that concludes your testimony, Mr. Daniel. You don't have any other witnesses, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Daniel, I'll ask, do you have any rebuttal witnesses in this matter?
No.
Okay. That looks like that concludes the proofs. In this particular case, so the court will go to you first, Ms. Daniel. You can make any closing argument that you'd like.
Okay. I just feel like my kids should be with me. I don't really want to lose my kids. I do love my kids to death. I would never harm them. I do want what's best for my children. I already lost one. I don't need to lose the other four. I'm a loving, caring mother. Like, me and my kids do have a good bond. We're playful together. Like, I do anything for them, anything they ask for. I always got in trouble by Edward. Don't do that. You know, you're doing too much. That's because that's the type of mother I am. I just want to make my children happy. I want to make sure they're happy. I never had a, you know, happy childhood like that, but I want my kids to have that. So I try to do what's best for them in any type of way I can. And it upsets me when I do have to discipline them and tell them no and sit them in timeout. I don't like that. It's just, you know, when kids don't listen, they have to go to timeout and get things taken from them when they're misbehaving. It still hurts me and I cry, but you know, and yes, the house may get dirty, but that's because you got kids, you know. I have to clean up 3 times a day. But they go right behind me and destroy again. But you know what? It's a part of having kids. It's a part of being a mother. You have to do those things. But that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Daniel, any closing argument?
Yes, Your Honor. I will. I have no problem admitting that, like, she's a very caring mother. But when it comes to raising the children and the people that's around the children and the environment, it's not good. And so, only reason I'm even here is just to make sure that the kids have an environment. I do not, like, even if, let's say I do get sole custody, the kids will always be in her grasp whenever she needs. It's just the environment. I do not want my kid to grow up in those environments where her parents call them racial slurs, with them being hit because they hair look nappy. Like, I want them to grow up in an environment. Like, right now, it's not a good environment. And I'm not here to take kids. I'm here right now to give them the best life they can have, because me and her laid together and we brought those children into this world. They didn't ask for this. And so it's time to put on, oh crap, I almost said time to put on big girl's panties. Oh crap, that's on record. Oh god. It's time to, we gotta step up and, like, we gotta give them the best life they can have. That's the only thing I'm looking at. That's the only thing I'm looking at. I'm not looking at money. Shoot, take the money. I don't care. Car, take it. House, take it. I don't care about that. What I care about is those kids, because, like, I don't think they understand. Like, when I was in foster care, and when all of us kids had to sit around waiting to get adopted, and you hear the stuff, you hear it, and it haunts me. And then now I'm literally looking at it right now. And it's like, my kid's gonna be in that situation. Nah. That's why I work 12 hours, 7 days a week. That's why I bust my butt. Kelsi's right here, so she can tell you I'm not lying. I work my butt off so my kids will never, ever have to go through that. And like I said, she's a really caring mother. It's just, I believe, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, I believe she really had to let go of those people that's whispering in her ear, because they taken everything from her whole life. her mother, that woman, has stripped everything from her to keep Kelsi in control because she made a statement about me sleeping with her sister. That's correct, but she didn't tell how I work 12 days a week. I mean, 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And she was cooking for another dude, but I would come home with nothing to eat. I had to cook my own food. And so, yeah, we broke up and I did end up doing it. But guess what? Her biological sister, her blood sister that she was talking about, don't want nothing to do with any of them. Her blood sister cut her mother off because she saw what her mother was doing. Everybody around her, we keep trying to tell her, your mother is really just dragging you down.
You don't
And
have
I
to
do
put
not-
my
I do not
daughter
want
and
my
me
kids-
into it, Edward.
Hold on, ma'am, stop talking. You're not involved in these proceedings. If you need to, leave the room. If I hear you again, ma'am, we'll have you in and have you held in contempt of court. Go ahead, Mr. Daniels.
We keep, like, if you can ask Kelsi, like, who's her friends now? She don't have any because her mother pulled them all away. Kelsi's alone, just the way her mother wants her to be. Like I said, I'm not saying this to be rude or put Kelsi down. Kelsi is a really caring person. That's what's sad. She's such a sweet person. But she got those evil, the person you just heard in the background. I swear. You said, like, we're here for sole custody, and like I made a statement about temporary custody. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the reason I'm looking for sole custody right now isn't permanent. I just want to give our kids a better environment, let Kelsi work, get her place, get her driver's license. She's almost 30 with no driver's license. Let's go ahead. Come on, build up, build up. That way, our kids, like, I'm going to my mom, boom, my mom got this. Boom, my mom got that. And I know that we're taken care of. Not sitting at your mom's apartment, that 1-bedroom apartment. I know Kelsi's better than this because when me and my family was helping her get her GED, she was killing it. It got to a point where I got her up to college calculus, and I'm really bad at calculus. She was feeling, and she got it right. And then her mom walked up, Kelsi, that's too hard for you. Now you ask Kelsi, what's 8 times 8? She cannot give you the answer. She gives up. Her mother continues to make her give up. That's why I want them in that environment. When we went to Texas, like she said, she felt safe from my family. The whole time, well, Kelsi, they just want to take the kids and leave you homeless. We was offered a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with 2 cars, because my grandmother is getting old. And that was the only condition. We had to take care of my grandmother.
Mr. Daniel, I don't want to cut you off, but you need to only address what was put into evidence through the testimony, et cetera.
Okay.
All this other stuff, nobody testified to this, so the court can't consider it.
I'm sorry. You know what? I ended right there. You're right. I was getting emotional. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Ms. Daniel, anything else that you have?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
My kids will be brought up in a good environment. If I get sole custody of my kids, I would not let anybody harm my children or let no harm come to my children. I do want what's best for those kids. They do deserve a good life. They didn't ask to be here. And that's what I want to give them. And I can provide that for them. And no, I'm not with my mom. I don't stay with her. We have a house. That's where I stay. residing with my boyfriend in his house. He has a house. I don't come to my mom's house anymore. This is the first time I've been here in months. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Well, the court has heard the testimony, the proofs in this particular matter. I will state first, it's clear from listening to the parties that there has been a breakdown of the marital relationship to the extent that the object of matrimony has been destroyed and there remains no reasonable likelihood the marriage can be preserved. As a result, the court will grant the judgment of divorce. Ms. Daniel, I'm going to have you, if you have been able to, or if not, you can go back and look at this, because you're going to have to, as the plaintiff, you're going to have to prepare the judgment and the uniform child support order, et cetera. So you're going to have to pay attention to what the ruling is, because you have to put that in a, again, in a judgment of divorce and a uniform child support order. I will tell you in this matter, just so you're aware, that the court has heard the testimony, and the court in this matter will be bound by the law that exists in the state of Michigan. I'm not swayed by any particular testimony or by any emotions that come up in the case. So I want you to be aware that it'll be strictly on the law as relates in this matter. Court will note that there was the parties were married in this matter on or about August 16, 2013. They separated on or about November 26, 2022. Prior to that time, they had resided in the same household, been in various states, as we heard the testimony. Michigan, went to Texas for a period of time, then came back. During that time, the parties did, in fact, raise the children together. The defendant was, in fact, the primary breadwinner in the household, although the plaintiff did work during that time. They have 4 children: Amara, age 9, Oriana, age 7, Kyrie, age 5, and Lorenzo, age 1. In this case, the court will note that the custody cases are governed by the best interest of the child test as delineated under the Child Custody Act, being Michigan Compiled Laws 722.23. We will specifically address each one of the factors in just a moment. However, the first task in any custody case is to determine if an established custodial environment exists. An established custodial environment exists if over an appreciable time, the child naturally looks to the custodian in that environment for guidance, discipline, necessities of life, and parental comfort. The statute provides that the age of the child, the physical environment, and the inclination of the custodian and the child to the permanency of the relationship shall be considered. Michigan Compiled Laws 722.26a requires that the court consider an award of joint custody, and joint custody will be awarded in a case where the parties are able to cooperate concerning child-related issues. Doesn't matter whether they get along, it's a matter of whether they can cooperate in that manner. I think, well, I'll address that in a moment. As I said, the first task is to determine whether an established custodial environment exists. Court will note that the testimony in this case has been that when the plaintiff left the household back in November 2022, that she took with her and had in her care Lorenzo up until approximately May of this year. It could have been a little bit earlier or something of that nature, but the other 3 children were principally in the care of the defendant. As a result, the court is going to have to, when I look at the testimony, I'm looking at, again, the guidance, discipline, necessity of life, and parental comfort. The testimony has been in this particular matter that's, in fact, when Lorenzo was with the plaintiff, that she obviously was looking to him, or excuse me, he was looking to her for that care, guidance, necessity of life, parental comfort. And in fact, the defendant had testified that during that approximate, I guess you at this point probably 7 months during that particular time that, again, Lorenzo was primarily with his mother, and he had about 2 months during that time when they were in his particular care. In contrast, the opposite is true regarding the other children, and that I took the plaintiff through the months as we went along in this particular case, and note that she acknowledged that in December 2022, she had a couple days each week with the children. In January, the same. February 2023, March 2023, the same. A couple days per month. Per week that she had the children with her. However, in April, she didn't have the kids, as well as May she didn't have the kids. In June, she's only had Kyrie for a period of time. It does appear that, again, the 3 older children were, again, did look to the defendant for, again, guidance, discipline, necessity of life, and parental comfort. I'll get into that as we go through the factors to examine that, but it does appear that those factors existed in the defendant's home. As a result, the court will find that the 3 older children, Amara, Ariana, and Kyrie, have an established custodial environment with the defendant in this particular matter. That Lorenzo's established custodial environment would have been with the plaintiff in this case. The reason that's important is that the legislature has found that where an established custodial environment exists, the court cannot change the established custodial environment except upon a showing of clear and convincing evidence. And that's done to minimize the prospect of unwarranted or disruptive change in custody and to erect barriers against removal of the child from the established custodial environment, except in the most compelling cases. When there is no established custodial environment, the burden is simply a preponderance of proof. In this case, as in most cases, credibility is always an issue. There has been some, each party has had some witnesses testify, and the court is considering the credibility of those particular witnesses in deciding and determining the case. Often parties will allege that the other party or their witnesses are untruthful in their testimony, but however, the court finds that, again, oftentimes parties and witnesses' testimony is affected by their background, perception, bias, understanding or misunderstanding, and is not always and not necessarily the result of intentional untruthfulness. To assess credibility, the court looks to other witnesses and other evidence to arrive at an objective understanding, and the court has made such an assessment in this case because obviously in some instances there was inconsistent or contradictory evidence. And the court will take into consideration credibility in assessing the evidence in the case. As I go through the ruling, I will attempt to assess and address the salient evidence, but I can't address all, as we'd have to spend an additional day here going over everything. It does appear in this matter that the parties had many issues during the marriage, and the court cannot correct or solve any and all the problems and difficulties the parties have experienced during their marriage. The court can only resolve and the disputes that exist at this time. And again, there's been the testimony about many issues, conduct during the marriage. The court is always struck by the fact that during a marriage, these issues, conduct, which were seemingly obtruse and insignificant, however, now with the light of the divorce proceedings shined on them, they are raised as character assassination in an attempt to disparage or demonstrate how deficient the other party is. And there were a number of these issues that were addressed in this particular case. court has to, and I will now go through the best interest of the child test. The first factor the court has to address is the love, affection, and other emotional ties existing between the parties involved and the children. I would say, as I go through the best interest of the child test, the court has attempted to, through the various witnesses, to again supplement the testimony, because quite frankly, a lot of the testimony in this case was devoid of evidence on the factors under the Child Custody Act. However, many of those did come through. In this case, it does appear that the parties both love their children. It does appear from the testimony that the children have a loving relationship with their parents. And again, it looks like, based upon some of the testimony, that we could be able to glean in this particular matter, that again, the love, affection, and emotional ties existing between the plaintiff and Lorenzo is stronger than with that of the defendant. In contrast, the testimony will show that Amara, Ariana, and Kyrie have a stronger emotional ties with the defendant in this case. As a result, as it relates to the four children, I'll find that this factor does favor the plaintiff as it relates to Lorenzo and favors defendant as it relates to the other three children. Next factor is the capacity and disposition of the parties involved to give the children love, affection, guidance, and continuation of the education and raising the children in a particular religion or creed. If any, the testimony is devoid of any testimony about the parties' religious involvement, so the court will not consider that. The court does note in this particular matter that obviously with Lorenzo, he's very young, so it's hard to find anything, if you would rate, obviously nothing as it relates to education, but as it relates to guidance, etc. The court does take that into consideration. In this particular matter, the testimony has shown that, again, obviously, I think the parties do have both the capacity. The issue is, do they have the disposition? Meaning, are they doing what they claim that they have the ability to do? In this particular matter, court will note that the plaintiff has not had substantial involvement with the children after the separation of the parties. It had limited contact with them other than Lorenzo. And again, the defendant did have contact with Lorenzo during this particular time for approximately a total of 2 months during that approximate 7-month period of time. It does appear in this matter, as the defendant had testified and as Ms. Woodson had testified, that in their home, in that particular home, that they do work on the education of the children. It does appear, based upon the testimony, that the education or grades, et cetera, had slipped after the separation of the parties. That, however, fortunately, is oftentimes something that occurs that is normal in this particular matter. The court will find, based upon the testimony as to the salient portions of factor B, that the plaintiff has a benefit as it relates to Lorenzo, and defendant has a benefit and it favors him as it relates to the other three children. Next factor is the capacity and disposition of the parties involved to provide the children with food, clothing, medical care, and other remedial care recognized in place of medical care. Again, there's been somewhat devoid about much testimony in this matter. However, the court would note that the testimony would show that during the separation of the parties, that the plaintiff was acquiring public assistance for and on behalf of the 4 children, as she says, of an amount of approximately $900. She was also receiving WIC benefits for Lorenzo. And during that approximate, let's say, 8 months, she had testified that she'd only given the defendant either between $500 and $600. And she had testified, however, that the defendant stated he didn't need it to keep the money may be, but there was not any other. The court looks at this as capacity and disposition. She had the capacity, but the court will find as it related to the three older children, she did not have the disposition to provide those material needs. And there was testimony at one point that I think it was Kyrie was hospitalized, and it was defendant who was responsible for having him in the hospital and taking care of that. As a result, but the court will note with Lorenzo that he was in her care and she was providing for him based upon her receipt of public assistance. The court will find that, again, this factor weighs in favor of the plaintiff as it relates to Lorenzo, but weighs in favor of defendant as to the other three children. Next factor is the length of time the children have lived in a stable, satisfactory environment, desirability of maintaining continuity in this matter. It does appear again that Lorenzo was in the plaintiff's care the majority of the time. It does appear, although there's been some question or alluding to the fact that the plaintiff may not be in that home long term, that there's been no credible testimony that there's nothing other than stable. Likewise, there's no testimony been that the home of the defendant is not a stable environment as well. So the court will again find that as it relates to Lorenzo, that environment in the plaintiff's home is stable and satisfactory, and as it relates to defendant and the other three children is stable and satisfactory as well. Next factor is the permanency of the family unit, existing or proposed custodial homes. There's been no testimony about any lack of permanency in the family unit, so the court weighed this factor to be equal. The next factor was the moral fitness of the parties involved. There's been very little testimony about the moral fitness of the parties. The only thing, there was some allegations of drinking on the part of the defendant by the plaintiff and her witnesses. However, that was not substantiated by any other, what a court will consider objective witnesses. There was the admission by him that he did have a drinking driving offense back in 2016. That's now 7 years ago. The court doesn't find that to, again, be at issue at the current time. The court is going to find that the parties do each demonstrate moral fitness and will weigh that factor equally. Next factor is the physical and mental health of the parties involved. The only thing, there's been some statements that the plaintiff was and had exhibited signs of being bipolar. That was not really highlighted in any way in the testimony, although it stated a reference that she might have been on some disability at some point as a result of that, but there was no independent testimony or evidence of that point. The court cannot find that this factor weighs in favor of either party. The court will weigh that factor equally. Next factor is the homeschool and community record of the children. There's not been any testimony about the community record. There has been testimony about the older children and the school record briefly, and the court will consider that. It does appear that all the children have home records in the home that they're in, although again, the evidence on that was slight. The court will find that this factor does favor the plaintiff as it relates to Lorenzo, and then the other three children weigh in favor of the defendant. The next factor is the reasonable preference of the children. If the court considers the children be of sufficient age to express a preference, I did have a chance to speak to the children, and the court is taking into account their preference in this matter. Next factor is the willingness and ability of each of the parents to facilitate and encourage a close and continued parent-child relationship with the other parent. In this matter, the court notes that, again, the plaintiff has made allegations that the defendant was uncooperative in letting her see the children. However, she does acknowledge that during the months of separation that she was able to see them. And the court would note as well that she did not at any point ever file any action in this particular case to acquire any additional parenting time other than what she had testified to previously in her testimony. The testimony has been that, again, the defendant was able to have time with Lorenzo during that period of separation. And what the court will find that this factor does not favor either party, that they're both equal as it relates to this factor. Next factor is domestic violence, regardless of whether the violence was directed against or witnessed by the children. There has been some allegations of domestic violence. I will say that, however, that has been very scant, although there's been some testimony about that. But the court does not find any objective testimony about that, and finds that much of that testimony appeared to be self-serving. And as a result, the court will not weigh this factor in favor of either party. Any other factor that the court considers as relevant in the particular dispute, as it relates to any other factor, the court does note that, again, the children have, for the most part, been on separate tracks, Lorenzo and the other three children, and the court does note that it's not good for children to be separated, but oftentimes, or unfortunately, sometimes the evidence again suggests that that might be what is appropriate based upon the evidence and the law in a particular case. When the court considers all of the evidence, the court does believe, and the court will state that the defendant did on closing, did acknowledge that the plaintiff was a caring mother, did acknowledge that it did appear that he and the plaintiff were able to work things out as it relates to various matters concerning the children, or maybe third parties are not involved or intermeddling in the case. And as a result, the court does find that it's appropriate that the parties are granted joint legal custody of all of the children. That means that both of you will have to be consulted concerning important decisions in the children's lives. Change in schools, medication, non-emergency surgical situations, things of that particular nature. You consult with each other. I will tell you, so that you don't come back in 3 years or 6 years or whatever it might be and say, oh yeah, I went in and I decided to change the child's school from here to there. And yeah, I didn't discuss it with him because I didn't think I had to. Well, I will tell both of you, you have to discuss it with the other party. Doesn't mean you have to agree. You just have to discuss it. If you can't agree, then you bring it back to the court for a determination as to what we're going to do. And I will tell you that once you are not able to agree in this matter, the decision is no longer yours, okay? The decision is mine because you've given the decision to me. And I don't like to make the decision. I don't like to do that, but you've turned it over to me, so I'm making the decision. So in the future, if other decisions have to be made, you have to bring it back to the court, and I will make those decisions. When, like I said, the court will grant joint legal custody to the parties as it relates to all of the children. As it relates to Lorenzo, because the established custodial environment was with the plaintiff, she has to show by a preponderance of evidence that it is in his best interest that Lorenzo would remain in her care. The court finds, based upon the factors under the Child Custody Act, that those factors do justify an award of physical custody of Lorenzo to plaintiff mother. As it relates to the other three children, the evidence demonstrates clearly that it is in their best interest that the defendant be granted physical custody of the three older children. What the court is going to do is the court is going to award parenting time to each of you as to the other children on alternating weekends from Friday at 6:00 p.m. to Sunday at 6:00 p.m., alternating legal holidays. And the front of the court has a schedule that you can get on the front of the court website to find out what the legal holidays are and what the schedule is for the legal holidays, because they vary. For instance, Christmas Eve is from 9:00 a.m. or 9:00 p.m. on the 23rd through 9:00 p.m. on the 24th. Christmas Day, 9:00 p.m. on the 24th through 9:00 p.m. on the 25th. So, and there's other dates and times, and so you'll have to look at the front of the court website to determine that. There's also, the court will award alternating holidays, I said, one half of the Christmas vacation period, one half of the summer vacation period, and the court will order that you exercise parenting time in a manner such that the children are all together. So the weekends where plaintiff has the kids, she would have all the kids. The weekends defendant has the children, he would have Lorenzo with him with those particular children as the same over the winter and over the summer, spring break, etc. The court will order child support consistent with the custody arrangement in this matter. It will, ma'am, you're going to have to calculate that, but if you go to the service, let's say you go to michiganlegalhelp.org, it'll help you, take you right through that. You'll put in the fact that you do have split custody. The court is going to take into consideration in this matter that and find that the plaintiff does have income at $16 per hour for 40 hours per week. The court will find that the defendant has income of 40 hours per week at $23 per hour. Court notes that there was some testimony about another business. The court finds that that's, at this point, he's only been operating 3 months. It's speculative as to what that's going to be. That could be subject to review in the future, but at this point, the court's not taking that into consideration. Likewise, the court isn't taking into consideration the plaintiff's overtime, which she stated she has, but there's uncertainty as to what that is. So the court will take into account just the income as I've stated, and then you'll have to calculate that, and you will figure it based upon the other party having 90 overnights with the other children. So when it's calculated, it'd be calculated that plaintiff has 90 overnights per week with the 3 children, and defendant has 90 overnights per week with the 1 child. That should give you a calculation as to what the support obligation would be, and the difference with, and then the party, obviously, that would be ordered to pay would be the party that the calculation would establish. Court believes that the parenting time, as the court has announced, is consistent with Michigan bylaws 722.27A, taking into account all the factors under the statute, meaning special circumstances or needs of the children. The court doesn't find there's any special needs other than, as the defendant testified about, the severe allergy that Kyrie has, food allergy. Second factor is whether the child is less than 1 year of age. Child isn't less than 1 year of age. There's been no testimony that the child is still nursing, but irregardless, that hasn't been addressed. Next factor is likelihood of abuse or neglect of a child during parenting time. There's no testimony that either of the parties will abuse or neglect the child, and so the court's not taking that. The next factor is likelihood of abuse of a parent during the exercise of parenting time. The court will not consider that as well. Next one, the inconvenience or burdensome impact of travel. There's been no testimony about that being an issue, so the court will not consider it. Next factor is whether the parent is reasonably likely to exercise ordered parenting time. The court will find that both parties would exercise their ordered parenting time. Next factor is whether the party has frequently failed to exercise parenting time. The court won't find that. The next factor is threatened or actual detention of the child, and court doesn't find any threatened or actual detention, and the other relevant factors the court's already addressed. This, again, is consistent with the ruling of this court as it relates to parenting time. Again, there were no issues concerning property in this case, so the court will find that the parties had keeps the personal property in their respective possessions. They will retain that. The plaintiff has asserted a claim for spousal support. Spousal support is provided for by statute, MCL 552.23, and the court required to take into account various factors considered in the Louts case at 298 Mishap 21, Friends 2012 case, take into account past relationship and conduct of the parties, length of the marriage, the ability of the parties to work. The length of the marriage has not been significant. It's really at the time of separation, it was a 9-year marriage. The ability of the parties to work, both of the parties are working. The source and amount of property awarded to parties, that's again not an issue either. Age of the parties, both the parties are young in this matter, so that should not preponderate in the way of support. The ability of the parties to pay, again, courts do not find that there has been substantial testimony about the ability to pay by either of the parties. Next, the present situation of the parties. Again, the parties seem to be paying their bills. They are, again, under the present situation, there's been no showing of need, and the court will address the needs of the parties. There's been no showing of need for spousal support. Health of the parties, parties are not, in fact, impacted by any health issues that would constitute a need for support. Fault, there's not been any, again, credible testimony about fault. Prior standard of living of either, or is either party responsible for the support of others. There's been very little, if any, testimony about that. Next factor is the effective cohabitation of the party's financial status. Court will note both of the parties appear to be cohabitating. Other factor is the contribution to the joint estate. That's really not relevant, as the parties have kept the minimal property in their respective possessions. And the general principles of equity. The general principles of equity do not preponderate in favor of awarding spousal support. So the court will deny an award of spousal support in this matter, finding that that has not been established or proven in this particular case. With that, Ms. Daniel, you're going to be required to include all of that in a judgment of divorce. And I said, if you haven't written down everything that the court said, you can go back and review it on YouTube. You'll have 30 days to do so before it's deleted. So make sure you start right away, because oftentimes you have to submit, you're going to have to submit the judgment of divorce, the uniform child support order, and the judgment information form. Those 3 documents you have to submit to the front of the court for their approval. And if oftentimes when parties are not represented, they get an objection because they haven't included something that they have to include, or they've calculated something wrong. And if so, then the front of the court's going to file an objection, then you're going to have to redo it again and get them to agree and to approve it. Once they do approve it, you can submit it to the defendant for his approval. And if he approves it, then you can submit it to the court at that time. If in fact he doesn't approve it, in that he believes it's an error or you made a mistake, then you're going to have to notice it up for entry before the court. With that, Ms. Daniel, do you have any questions in this particular case, or do you believe that the court has in any way omitted or failed to address something I need to address?
You said, where do I go again to do that?
Okay, for the 3rd time, MichiganLegalHelp.org.
Okay, all right.
And what happens, you put in, you'll You'll get to the point where it's talking about preparing a judgment of divorce in the UCSO, and it'll take you right down through a series of questions, and you just answer all those, and in the end, you should be able to come up with a proposed judgment of divorce and a uniform child support order. And I will tell you, as you do it, they're going to have a lot of provisions that are not going to make any sense to you, but those are standard provisions that are required by statute that they be in the judgment. So put those in, because otherwise the front of the court will not approve the judgment. With that, is there anything else, Ms. Daniel?
So we basically have joint custody?
You have joint legal custody.
Okay,
And when you prepare the form, there's a place in there, a joint legal, physical. Physical custody, you have physical custody of Lorenzo, and defendant has physical custody of the other three. And then the support under the parenting time, you're going to have to split that, is that because you have parenting time with the three, he has parenting time with Lorenzo. So you're going to actually have two paragraphs under the parenting time, which are going to be reciprocal provisions. The only thing is it does provide that each of you would have a midweek parenting time from 4 to 8 o'clock p.m. Obviously, you can't do that and have the kids together. So you're going to have to put, usually, if the parties have the kids together, it'll be, if the parties can't agree, it would be like a Wednesday. And then we always put in there, you do it at a date that the day that the parties can agree. If you can't agree, in your case, because you can't do it that way, if the parties can't agree, then what I'll do simply order that Ms. Daniel, you would have the children on Tuesday and he would have the children on Wednesday night, if you can't agree to other nights.
Do you understand what he's saying?
okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Any other questions you have, ma'am?
No, I don't. I was just hoping to get my daughter Ari too.
Well, that's a hope. That's not what the evidence established or dictated. So the court can only go with the evidence and the law in the case. Mr. Daniel, is there anything else you have or questions about, or you believe that the court failed to address that I need to before we conclude?
No, Your Honor, I think everything was
Okay.
fine.
Thank you both. I hope that everything works out for you, and best of luck to you. And the court will conclude this matter at 2:19.